This is a 2007 Mustang GT. These are kind of known for the motors not being that good. I'm coming from a 2021 Mustang GT. Today we're gonna check it out, see if it lives up to the price point of where these are at on the used market. Now, this one has actually been outfitted with Cobra front rear bumper, badges, all this stuff. We're gonna look at it all today in the video and see if this is a good value for you. I have never driven one of these. I've driven a lot of other S550, 2015 and up Mustangs. Currently own a Mach 1 with a handling package, so it's really tough to go from a 21 Mach 1 with a handling package to drive this vehicle because I'm gonna be hard on it. But let's see if it's actually worth the money in today's market, used car market, see if this is the best place to put your bucks or not. So let's take a look. All right, let's just check out the outside. Actually, I really like this front end. This is the Cobra front end. So that would be Cobra hood, Cobra grille, upper and lower. Got these unique fog lights. You've got this unique fender trim that I really like as well. This front end actually, so look, I'm a Mustang guy. I've had a 2015 for GT performance package. This was never appealing to me, but now that I'm looking at this vehicle, it actually looks really good. I actually like these headlights, very retro, almost 90s looking. It's very, I like it right now. This is kind of a good car for the era, especially with this Cobra package. Now, this is not a real Cobra, but they have put the money into doing the Cobra it's a full clone as far as I know. You Mustang S197 owners can leave it in the comments and show me what this is missing from the actual 2007 Cobra, but as far as I can tell, this has all the bits and pieces from the Cobra. These are actually functional louvers in the hood. These are 20-inch wheels, 255/35 20s, so you can actually rotate this wheel entire setup. As you can see, this is the Shelby GT500 wing, emblem, badge, and possibly rear diffuser. Pop the hood and check out the motor. Here it is, the 4.6 liter 300 horsepower motor that came in these 2005 to 2010 Mustang GTs. This motor was right before the Coyote came out, which made like 420 horsepower. This motor is like, 25% less, or a third less horsepower than when they upgraded to the Coyotes, making this car kind of a dud compared to the 2011 Mustangs. But let's see what's good about this motor. Is it reliable? This actually is a torquey motor. So let's go for a drive here in a second and see what we think about this motor. So it does look like it has a Ford Racing cold air intake. Actually is a part number here. And I don't know if that's a factory intake cover or not. I'm gonna assume that it is. These cars were running 520 back in 2007, which is interesting. And this is a 4.6 liter. It makes about 300 horsepower. And if you dyno these motor, something about 250 to the wheels. It's a 3-valve motor. A lot of people had hate about this motor, but honestly, it actually makes really good torque. And you can supercharge these motors and make about 450 torque reliably. 450 horsepower, 450 torque, 400 horsepower, 450 torque reliably, and have a pretty cool little car. Just after taking a look at this car, it's actually kind of growing on me as I'm reviewing it. Let's check out the interior and see what we think about it. 15-year-old Mustang interior. See how it compares to today and see what things are working and not working for that interior. This is definitely 15-year-old Mustang interior, and you can see here how this is separating. There's some other things you can see. This car has 103,000 miles on it, so I'm not expecting a lot from it, but honestly, it looks like this has been repaired. It's coming off here. The leather's nice. What I did notice is when you sit in these seats, they're nice and big. It's not a Recaro, but it's nice and big, and this vehicle actually feels very spacious inside. Here is that classic Mustang steering wheel. It's just very straight across. They're trying to keep it retro, very straight across and just completely flat. The dash actually has a crack on it. I am assuming that's pretty common, and this is all hard plastic, and I can imagine this rattles like crazy when you're driving it, in conjunction with a convertible top. Passenger seat looks dry. Now, if you had taken care of your Mustang, this would probably be a decently fine interior, but this is definitely 2007 Ford plastics in here, and I'm not very fond of that. But it's very simple, traction control button, here's your trip, aftermarket head unit. Even this has started to dry rot. So the main things with this interior is like, it's been sitting out in the sun. It's starting to get dry rotted, right? Back seats actually look pretty cool. It looks like you sit way down in there. not any room at all. No room back there to sit, but the seats do look very bucket and pretty cool looking, to be honest. After just spending a little bit of time with this vehicle, I'm actually starting to grow on me a little bit. I'm kind of a sucker for an automatic car, something you just jump in and cruise. But let's hop in and go for a drive and see what we think about it. All right, let's start this thing up and see what it sounds like. I don't know what that noise is, but that's interesting. Okay, sounds good. Wow, that's interesting. It's got a little burble runoff. Wow. Sounds good. That intake sounds mean. All right, guys, let's take the 2007 Mustang GT Premium Convertible for a test drive. First thing I noticed, sitting in the seat, I've got a lot of room. It's very spacious. This is not obviously a Recaro seat. It's a GT Premium Convertible, so it's made for a cruiser, not to go around the racetrack. Nice, comfortable. They're not super padded, but they are a little flat. But to be honest, it actually gives you the sense of space on the inside of the vehicle. You don't feel hunkered down and squeezed. It's kind of roomy compared to, you know, a car with a very bolstered seat. I feel spacious. That's what I'm trying to say. It feels spacious in here. This is 2007, so we've got these manual, oh, these are electric adjusters. Haven't seen these in a while, they work just fine, which is cool. Let's start it up, see what it sounds like. Little click in there. So here we go. We've got gas, temperature, battery, and oil pressure. Got a low pressure light on, which is cool and fine. Everything's good. We're gonna run around with the top closed with no AC, so the audio isn't terrible. You have little vanity mirrors here, one on the passenger as well, it looks like. Here's how you control the top, lights, horn, AC, which looks good, aftermarket. Here's your traction control. Cool thing is you got this nice e-brake really close to you. A manual e-brake, 07 car. 5-speed automatic, 300 horsepower. It does have an intake, and as you heard, the exhaust sounds, I believe that is stock. All right, we're here along with Kevin. He's gonna hang out with us and let us know. If you're interested in this vehicle, talk to Kevin. I'll put his number in the description and we'll get this car over to you. Okay, right off the bat, you know what's interesting? These 4.6s actually have pretty good torque. Inside vibrates a bit because it's a convertible. It's 07. You don't have the structural rigidity because of that convertible top. That's probably the main thing. If you wanted to upgrade this car for a performance driving car, you would add some things to the chassis to make the chassis more stiff. But this is a cruiser. This is a GT premium convertible. But just off the initial driving, you can tell that the motor has torque. Transmission shifts fine. We're just gonna cruise through town. Front end feels like it could use some work. Of course, it is a 2007 with 100,000 miles. It just needs to be just tightened up a little bit. The suspensions were not the same if you're trying to compare it to a modern Mustang, but this car feels totally appropriate for its age. I'm kind of surprised. It does have that initial torque. See, the Coyote is such a high revving motor. It doesn't have torque at 1500 RPMs like these 4.6s do, honestly. I believe this car did a 0-60 in about 5 seconds, 5.5. Let's check it out. All right, dead stop, let's stomp it. Car actually runs pretty good. I'm surprised. That's fine. That's totally fine.
Hadn't even been in the shop yet.
Yeah. I mean, who knows where this, you know, who knows if this car's been maintained, if it has a tune on it or not. Probably doesn't. I think it's just an intake, for Ford racing intake. Burn the tires. I'm 230 pounds. Kevin, you know, 180. We got two people in here. We're not. Oh, traction control's off. Maybe we'll test it again real quick. You know, we've got two full-size adults. This is the heaviest Mustang you can get from this year model. It's a convertible premium with two, you know, full-size adults in here. So it's not a light vehicle. But compared to the news, this is actually lighter. These weigh about 35, 36. Let's do another dead stop. Traction control's off this time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. almost sounds like it's got a supercharger. I know it doesn't. I know that's just the factory intake manifold, unless I missed something. It does sound like it's supercharged, doesn't it?
It does. It's whining.
It's whining. Is this a supercharged car? This is a fun car, man. There's nothing wrong with this car at all, to be honest. What's the price on this car?
I think it's $17,900.
$17,900. So this is COVID pricing. It's a little up there, but to be honest, who's gonna buy this car as far as a convertible as well as someone who wants a cruiser? A lot of guys, these will hold some boost also, so that's something to consider if you want to supercharge this car. And it would actually give you about another 200 wheel horsepower you can get out of this motor, 150 wheel horsepower just by supercharging. So if these make like 250 at the wheel, supercharging would put you about 400 at the wheel, and that stock motor will handle it. So this is a fun little cruiser. I can imagine taking the top down. There's nothing wrong with this car. 4.6 doesn't feel that lacking because of the torque that this motor makes. Got a nice little intake sound. Let's go around this curve and kind of see how it feels with these 20-inch tires. Actually has good turn in. After you get it loaded up and turn in, it actually felt pretty good there. They make a lot of suspension parts for this vehicle where you can do upgrades and make this thing handle really well. Honestly, if I was to get this car, I would just do suspension upgrades, lower it, sway bars. Let's do one more 0 to 60. I'm gonna load up the torque converter a little bit. Actually did better loading up the torque converter. Yeah, that was not bad.
Those tires are grippy.
Yeah, so this, you know, this is fun, man. There's what I would just do springs. I would do springs, and then is that train coming?
No.
I would do springs, and all right, so the body's already done on this car. I would do springs, maybe the OEM GT500 wheels. These 20s look fine. They need a little spacer. Springs, lower it down some sway bars so it doesn't sway. That's probably the only thing I would do as far as suspension. And then if you want to add a supercharger, you can, but I think this is a fun cruiser the way that it is. So what are you going to compare it to? You know, you're talking about 15 grand, 15 to 17. Okay, you can go buy an S550 convertible starting at 2015 year model. That's almost a 10-year newer car, and that's going to be double the price essentially. So this is half the price of that, and you're getting about 90% of the fun. This could be a budget build. You'd essentially just add a supercharger to this car, do lowering springs and sway bars, and you've got a fun little cruiser that actually looks good. It's got the GT5, so supercharger, 4 or 5 grand, lowering springs and sway bars, you know, 500 to 1,000 bucks. Do it yourself with your buddies on the weekend, and you've got 20 grand into a 400 wheel horsepower car that looks good and drives good. I think it's cool. You know, I didn't know much about these cars before coming to check it out, but honestly, it's torquey, it looks good, it drives good, and it's convertible. Who doesn't like that? So, you know, compared to the Coyotes, these motors aren't the most amazing, but it'll hold some boost, and you can get these for half the price of the Coyote cars. So is this a good budget vehicle to get some, you know, bang for your buck as far as value? I think so. I think this is a cool little car. So pull over, push. We've got a convertible top going down. Let's see if it works. How long did that take? 10 seconds, 15 seconds? Yeah. I think that's as far as it goes. Sure, it's not. Is it down? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's cool. Looks like a parachute from this side though. I was worrying. Could probably do a, you know what would be cool is a roll bar, like a Cervini's thing here. Nope. All right, we got the convertible action going here. Let's see how she does. This car's fun, man. Convertible top.
I think you just sold me.
Right? You're like, now you're gonna buy the car. All right, you're gonna buy your own.
Gas saver. What kind of gas mileage?
Yeah. No, this car actually gets really good gas mileage. This gets like 25 on the highway. I mean, it's not bad.
I get 10 in my truck.
Yeah. You pay for itself.
Plus some.
All right, you're the seller. I'm gonna sell you the car.
I'll write a check.
Right.
But I need you to do all those things you said.
Yeah. Just do it. Supercharger, sway bar springs, done. No, this would be a sweet little setup. I actually like this. I like this. This is a lot of fun. Convertible. A lot of people hate on convertibles, but go drive one and see what you think. Convertibles are fun. It's like, are you having fun when you're driving the car? You're like, yeah. This thing actually has really good partial throttle torque.
It's got a lot of low end.
Yeah, it does. It actually feels good. And then with the supercharger, it would actually add a lot more to that. This car runs good, man.
Supercharger add 200 horsepower to this?
Oh, 200 horsepower. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
It'd be quick. Oh yeah, it'd be fun.
It's already fun. Take a look right here.
Yeah, this car's fun, man. Now, you could do brake upgrades, you know, if you wanted to. It would need it if you're gonna add a supercharger as well. Thanks for watching, guys. In conclusion, I feel like this car is highly underrated. You can get these vehicles for a reasonable price. You get a lot of value in the vehicle for the price that you're paying. You get a lot of horsepower for the price that you're paying. It's a high value car. I feel like with a supercharger, a brake upgrade, and a little suspension upgrade, you know, putting $5,000 in this car, maybe a couple thousand more, you know, those are for brand new parts. You can obviously get, you know, secondhand suspension, springs, and roll bars. Those don't wear out usually, and you could probably pick up a secondhand supercharger on Facebook Marketplace or the forums. And you could also do an exhaust, or just keep it the way it is. Do a tune, intake, exhaust. And this car is a fun, really fun little car, and I really had a good time driving it, and it makes me want to get one, to be honest. So I was pleasantly surprised by the 5-speed automatic with the 4.6 liter 3-valve 300 horsepower, even though I had a passenger with me. And who knows if this car actually had 93 octane in it. And the convertible top was just fine. Just maybe tighten up the suspension, change the wheels out. Is a lot of fun to drive this car. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, but be sure to turn on the bell notification so you get notified when I publish the latest Mustang and automotive news, car reviews, and Mach 1 updates of my own vehicle. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.